This parable of Jesus is about a sower of seed, and it's about soil. It's about God, and it's about humanity. It's about God's generous giving of himself and his word, and a mixed response. You see, in our day, in agriculture, people plow the earth, and then they put little seeds carefully in there and close it up so they get a real nice harvest economically. But in that time, the sower would take a bunch of seed and just throw it. Just throw it. Just throw it on all these different kinds of soil, with the hope that something would stick. And it's an image of the way God speaks his word and offers his love to us. He just throws it abundantly, indiscriminately, wastefully, recklessly, wildly, on all people, on you and me, regardless of who we are or where we're at. He throws it. You know, the first reading, it says, just as from the heavens the rain and snow come down and do not return till they watered the earth, so shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. Did you ever, stand in the rain? Well, it just rains, It just rains everywhere. Just soaks everything. Nothing is missed. It just comes. It doesn't come down at about 30 feet from the earth and say, yeah, I don't want to do this today, I'm going to go back. No. It can only do one thing: rain. When it snows on everything. The snow doesn't come down and then say, well, I'm going to skip this house today. No. Everyone gets the snow. Because that's what God is. Love. That just loves. There's a story of Jesus. It's not in the Bible, but I'm told of him that one day he was walking down the road and someone cursed him. Jesus turned and gave that person a blessing. And someone said, why did you do that? And Jesus' reply was, that's all I got in my bag. That's all I got. That's all I can do. Because that's who I am. I can't be anything other than who I am. Oh. Catherine of Siena put it this way. She said, was it not enough to gift us with creation and to be created in your image and likeness? Was it not enough to create us anew to grace in your Son's blood? Was it not enough for you to give yourself as food, the whole of divine being, the whole of God? What drove you? Nothing but your charity. Mad with love you are. Mad with love you are. That is the one that loves you and me. He's mad with love for you and me. And when we get that, our lives become fruitful in amazing ways. Now, there's another part to this parable. There's the sower and there's the soil. Humanity. And the soil in this parable can be interpreted two ways. One way, which I interpreted for most of my life, which I think is what Matthew intended, was to answer the question, why do some people have faith and others don't? They both hear the word, but some get it and others don't. And he answers the question by saying, hey, there's evil. There's persecution. There's worldly anxiety and the lure of money. And so they don't get it. And I used to read that and think, yeah, it's true. And I get it, and I'm bearing fruit, and by the grace of God, this is good. But there's another way to interpret the soil. Years ago, I was reading this parable, and as I was praying, this thought came across my mind, and I thought it was God. And the thought said, John, it's all of you. It's all in you. And I knew immediately the truth of that. Yeah, I bear fruit. Yeah, I have faith. But if I'm honest, there's been times when evil has had its sway and affected me. And if I'm honest, there's times when tribulation and persecution and being rejected has depleted me. And yeah, there's times when I am anxious about things I need not be anxious. And there are times when I think way too much about money and worry about it. And yet I also bear fruit. Friends, I think that's us. That's the journey of discipleship. And we've got to own it in order to succeed. We've got to own the fact that evil is real and that we have a vulnerability to it. The spiritual writers talk about evil hitting us in our thoughts. Did you ever have a thought and you just think it's okay, but you stick with it and it's not real good, but it just keeps going and you let it go and you let it go and you think it and it brings you to a very bad place. It's how it works on us. I think we have to own the fact that we are intimidated by persecution and rejection. It intimidates us. You know, in our day-to-day life, in hundreds of ways, our society says to us that what you believe and your way of life is stupid. And when the lights shine and it looks so good not to have faith, it's hard not to compromise. It's hard not to step over. Not completely, but just enough. And friends, there's nobody here, nobody, that isn't anxious about things they need not be anxious about. There's no one here that doesn't think about money a lot. And sometimes invests our life in it. And it depletes our investment in Him. Friends, the Christian life is not a cakewalk. It's a life of discipleship. And we have to be aware at that which is coming at us and the nature of our discipleship. We are disciples. We have faith. But we're still in this. And when we step back and hear this gospel and believe in the madness of God's love for us, but not just believe it, open the soil of our hearts to it. Open our minds to understand it. Open our life to let it speak to us. Oh man, when we do that, then we meet Jesus. God's love given. And it's transformative of us. And it empowers us in our discipleship, and in that we begin to bear fruit, 100, 60, and 30-fold. We even, in some way, begin to love others the way he loves us. Friends, this day, let us open it up. Lord, let your love come upon us even this night. Let us let stuff go and just be present to what you would send and rain and give to us tonight, that we might receive you anew.